evening. Good evening, Ken. Good evening, folks
Alice.
at home.
How are we doing?
Welcome to LMC-TV's coverage of the 72nd Annual Mamaroneck Village Firemen's Parade. I'm Alice Bloom, and with me is my co-host.
Yes, Ken Barron, past chief of Village Mamaroneck Fire Department.
We're glad to have you back again, Ken. Thanks for being here. Now, the parade is just starting. You can hear the sirens in the background.
Yes, they are getting here, and Mamaroneck Avenue is very nicely decorated. Got lots and lots of people. Got the American flag hanging over across by the movie theater. Eventually you may pick it up in the pictures. And the police department is not far from us, I can see on the screen.
Well, I have to tell you, the village of Mamaroneck has weather karma. There were predictions for heavy storms today, and they cleared out at 4 o'clock, just when everybody was setting up. Unbelievable. It's a gorgeous night. If you were worried about coming down, come down now. It's a beautiful night here on Mamaroneck Avenue. Now, what are we listening to in the back, Ken?
Well, we've got the sirens, and just keep in mind, we've made an agreement. We don't talk through sirens, police noise, and bands when they're on top of us.
So there will be occasionally a lapse when you, and we definitely don't talk over bagpipes.
That's for sure.
Okay.
You will notice that this motorcycle unit has a motorcycle from good number of police departments around the county, not only the village of Mamaroneck. I've seen Yonkers, town of Mamaroneck, Portchester units in town earlier on. And behind us, you're going to hear the voice of past Chief David Vaughn. I don't know if you noticed on the names on the motorcycles as they went by, but the surrounding communities are well represented on those motorcycles.
And lucky them, they're on motorcycles. An awful lot of people are going to be walking the 2 miles.
There you go. Also, you'll notice from time to time when you see the picture of us, there's a brand new judging stand behind us, and the voice you're hearing that is Dave Vaughn, a past chief, who's the master of ceremonies at the judges' table. Yeah, and the color guard coming up along is led by ex-Captain Arthur Skip Donahue, ex-Captain William Fraser, ex-Captain William Snyder, and firefighter Warren Powell. The 2 outside guys should be carrying the axes. 2 in the middle who have the flags.
Now, Ken, who is the Grand Marshal of the parade?
Grand Marshal is going to be ex-Chief Dean DeLitta, a member of Hook and Ladder, and will be leading off, and his assistant will be ex-Captain Dylan Pogis of Hook and Ladder also. Since Chief Primrose come out of the Hook and Ladder Company, they get the honors of the Grand Marshal.
Well, they certainly have stepped up the pace of this parade.
Yes, they picked up a little bit further. And actually, I skipped over the fact that the lead parade was a Danbury Drum and Bugle Corps, and they have a program of life membership. If you make 70% of your parades during the 20 years you're in, you get to be a life member.
Now, who are we looking at on on
And
our
coming
screen.
up now is, I believe that's our Grand Marshal, I think.
Okay. It's always so nice when the firefighters bring their children and grandchildren to march with them.
Yes, that's exactly what we had. We had Pierce. We got that was Chief Vinny Costa with his daughter Brianna and Julia.
Lovely when they do that and they tell us ahead of time so we can acknowledge them. Now, have we seen Second Assistant Chief James Barney yet?
I believe he's he's got his car here. He's probably, yes, he's one of the white hats that's up there in the grouping. And his car, 2243, is being driven by his sister, Jessica Barney, who is also a member of the fire department.
Now,
So
we
when
have
you
a
see 2243 on the number?
We have a 51-year member joining us tonight. Ex-Captain James Wagner.
Right, he wasn't available last year for the 50-year ride, so we're getting him in this year as a 51-year member.
Now, would he probably be riding in one of the vehicles?
Yes, he should be riding in one of the vehicles. When you're a 50-year member, you don't have to walk anymore.
51 years, that's the margin. Okay.
That's where it goes.
Okay, it's the milestone. Well, here's quite a handsome vehicle. Now, the Ladies Auxiliary is represented here today.
Yes, the Ladies Auxiliary President is Kathleen Burke. Unfortunately, this year they lost Marie Paul, who was a 50-year member and a past president of the organization also. And the vehicle is provided by Ron Clark.
I see. Now, we also are going to see the Explorer Post 444 represented. Tell us about the Explorer Post. What does that
Well, we
represent?
have an Explorer Post here. It's the part of the Boy Scout organizations, and we have to meet certain Boy Scout rules and regulations. But they get a lot of fire training. We don't allow them to go into burning buildings. However, we make good use of them after the fire to help pick up gear, and they do a lot of training in hose stretching, folding ropes. They also get a couple outings in the course of the year, so it's a very active organization. Many cases, it's offspring of members of the department. In fact, our current chief, Peter Primrose, actually started out many years ago as a member of this organization.
Okay. Now, we're also going to see the American Legion Post represented here today with 3 cars.
I'm going to guess those are their 50-year members that don't have to walk.
Listen, we're coming up on that.
Well, actually, American Legion Post, if these guys really were in World War II, God bless them.
Yes, we're delighted to see them here today. They certainly are appreciated, and I'm glad to see them in fancy cars.
Yes.
Now, we've seen lots of politicians go down the street. We didn't get to identify them for you, but you know most of them. I saw Steve Otis, and I saw Tom Murphy, and a few others who walked by rather rapidly. I must say, the pace of this parade is very rapid. Often we linger and we get to talk to everybody. Ooh, here's a cute car.
Yeah, this is something that the EMS has installed for places like Harbor Island and whatnot, where you have large groups of people off-road, and you really can't drive the big ambulances
You get
onto
a
the
bye.
lawns.
Now, did Mamaroneck Village always lead off the parade? Is that the prerogative of the host?
Yeah, well, the Grand Marshal leads the parade, and then different departments are chosen. A lot of times it might be the department that signed up first for the parade.
Okay.
When we send out our invitations, we kind of put them in a line of march by the way the dates on the receiving them is. So, and every once in a while it might be the chief's prerogative.
Because I know that the village of Mamaroneck ends the parade, so that means that they're going all the way down the street and they're coming right back.
That's the way it means. Yes, it does. I think this is Mayor Rosenblum's racing team.
Right.
In fact, that's him walking along behind it.
And they'll be followed by the Larchmont Historical Society.
Yeah, there's a member of the Larchmont Fire Department who goes out and finds these older vehicles and then rebuilds them. It's his hobby, and he does a heck of a job with it.
Well, there's 3 of them here tonight that I can see. There's the 1922 American LaFrance, the 1910 brush car, and the 1891 chemical cart.
Yeah, and you'll notice the size of them when they come by. There's not a whole lot to them.
Wow.
Particularly the 1891 unit.
There we go. Which one are we looking at now?
That's the lead engine, so that's probably the 22 American LaFrance, followed by the 1910 brush car. And I don't see the third one. I got 3 listed, but I don't see it.
Somebody has a sense of humor.
They used to have a smaller white vehicle he had in the parades in prior years.
Now there's going to be an antique vehicle from Colchester, Connecticut.
Yeah.
A 1935 antique, who is privately owned. Is that what? Oh, I'm hearing the first band coming down the street.
I believe we're listening to the Fairfield County Police Pipe and Drum Outfit.
Now the bands often march in their representative units, so they're marching in the Portchester department.
Martin Portchester and probably West Harrison is tight behind them. The third unit we're going to get to is Kent, and this is another the village of Mamaroneck fathers and parents. Their offspring have spread out through the fire service. The fire chief in Kent is a member of the New York City Fire Department. He's also the volunteer fire chief in Kent, and he's the son of a hook and ladder member named Jerry Byrne.
We have wonderful camera work. There are a lot of people who are making this evening happen. Right now, let's do a shout out to our roving camera operator, Ray Oeda, who's marching up and down the street and bringing you some of these great shots.
One of the many things that happens during the parade is they get a trophy for the most men of line. And Portchester always does a very good job. And having watched the group go by, I'll bet they're in the running.
Well, does that have something to do with the fact that Portchester is so close to us?
Yes, but they also have a very large contingent in Portchester. They've got 8 companies up there, so it makes a difference.
So who do they leave home?
There's always a group that's left home. Everybody has standby units and whatnot, and the people are assigned to cover. And while we have 1 or 2 units, the rest of the units are home standing by. You got to remember, Portchester also covers all the way up, including Westchester County Airport.
Right, they have a huge area. But I think it's important to note that nobody leaves the community uncovered.
Yeah, nobody's left uncovered. There's always people left at home to cover. You get the parading units, and then there's other folks sitting in the firehouses, or they're on call. They've been notified that some of the equipment is out of town. And many of these departments march in more than one parade. Mamaroneck's not the only one holding one. And in the course of the summer, there's probably a half a dozen different parades that will participate in.
Are there limits?
I was going to say compete, because we usually go home with trophies.
They always go home with trophies. Are there limits on the number of fire parades that units can
That's a home decision.
Okay.
That's made locally.
Okay.
If they got guys that are willing to go, sometimes what happens, you get a parade and everybody's got other assignments and they're not able to participate.
I see.
Particularly if the wife's not happy with you.
Okay, and who do we see now?
Where are we now? I missed the flag, so I'm not sure where we're at.
Right, sometimes it's hard to identify.
It could be West Harrison.
It probably is.
Yeah, I believe that flag says West Harrison.
Okay. Well, this is a good time to tell everybody that LMC is a nonprofit organization open to all members of the community. We operate programs on Optimum channels 75, 76, and 77, and Verizon channels 36, 35, and 34 in the community interest for Larchmont and Mamaroneck. Wow, I got to say all that without a siren.
How about that? Well, we're close to the judging stand. Not supposed to be blowing sirens at the judging stand. That's a definite no-no. That takes away a trophy.
Well, LMC aims to heighten community awareness and increase community participation through the making and viewing of local television, and to encourage programming reflecting the concerns, interests, and activities of our community, such as the Mamaroneck Village Firemen's Parade.
There you go. Plus the fact you will notice from time to time the parade comes to a stop. You have to keep in mind that the post road is a state highway and it has to be kept open, so you get a certain amount of units go through, then they hold up the parade so they can allow traffic to flow up on Route 1.
Right.
Which may be why we're slowed down here momentarily.
Well, you know, in addition to individual shows that residents and individuals in our community produce, LMC offers varsity sports coverage, news, community and event coverage, such as the Firemen's Parade, YouTube shows, podcasting, studio and equipment training, editing, loanable field equipment for film and television production, birthday parties, meeting space rentals, and so much more. Go to the website and check out all the things LMC-TV does for you in our community. All right. Well, are we still looking at Port Chester? No, West Harrison.
No, we're looking at the West Harrison. West Harrison sent us 2 pumpers and a ladder.
Now, we noticed that not every department brings a marching band. How do they decide?
Actually, marching bands have a fee. So if the department can afford the band's fee, they'll hire one, and sometimes they'll limit the number of parades they actually contract for the bands to play. You're going to notice there's one outfit in the parade tonight called the Tappan Zee Bridgemen. They're actually going to show up here 4 different times in the course of the march, working with different fire departments. I guess they all get to Route 1 and then have to run like the devil back to Mamaroneck Avenue School to get back in the lineup for March. Should be fun to watch.
Well, we're going to see them 4 times tonight, and they're a mighty great band, so we get to enjoy them. And, of course, that means that they march all the way down the street and that they have to go all the way back up the street. I'm assuming that they get chauffeured back up the street.
I would hope so. The yellow equipment coming through your camera is Kent Fire Department. They're up in the Carmel area. And the interesting piece with this fire department is their chief of department is a son of a member of the Hook and Ladder Company here in Mamaroneck. He's also a fireman with the New York City Fire Department. So the fire department runs through his blood.
As I said, we've got a roving camera out on the street. We're getting lots of shots of the crowd. All right, now who are we looking at, Ken?
Well, here we got Larchmont firefighters. They have that uniform with the flame on the helmet.
Oh,
that's an old thing. There's not as many of them as they used to be. And the problem is, as they break, they can't come up with parts. But that is a live flame attached to the top of their helmets. That's how they used to get light on the fire ground.
We used to see a lot more of them.
And they're pulling a hand cart, which there again with hose and stuff on it, and was pulled to the fire department, then hooked up to a pumping unit that was usually at some piece of water. And here again is a very older Larchmont fire engine.
Now sometimes marching orders are changed. We have Larchmont down to be in the 3rd division later on.
Well, I think we did, didn't we? They must have arrived early.
Or maybe they have a party to go to and said, put me at the front.
Yeah, they're showing up in the 3rd division. They really jumped up.
Right, they really did.
Maybe there's another party they didn't tell us about.
Or maybe another parade. Now, Larchmont doesn't have a parade, do they?
No.
Okay.
They have memorial and parades and things like that, but they don't do a fire department parade like you see here. They leave it to us.
Well, Mamaroneck's been doing it, as we said, for 72 years. Was there ever a time when we didn't do it, or was there ever a break?
I think we got rained out once or twice, but no, as far as I know, there's been a parade every year. And I think this 72 years, that goes back into the 40s, so was sometime after World War II that they started.
And bagpipes. We don't talk over them. That was the Westchester Police Emerald Society, bringing in the town of Mamaroneck and Germantown, Connecticut.
When you get to see the Germantown group, they come out of Connecticut in the Danbury area.
Now, of course, we're seated right below the reviewing stand. So as people approach the reviewing stand, they're quite looking perky. But as soon as they
clean
pass
up the marching line, yes,
right,
they
and
do.
as soon as they pass the reviewing stand, you see palpable relaxation.
Well, actually, sitting up in the reviewing stand are people that count the number of people in the parade. They also judge the uniforms and how smartly dressed they are. They also count the equipment, and there's not supposed to be anybody hanging on them. Everybody's supposed to be seated properly inside, and no sirens from the equipment, at least not if you want to win a trophy. And the town of Mamaroneck, as you all know, is housed down on Weaver Street. So as if you follow the political division, you got Mamaroneck, Larchmont, and the town of Mamaroneck, all within the town of Mamaroneck circles. Now
our friends
Each
in
with
the
its own-
town of Mamaroneck didn't have to come very far.
No, there might be nobody home there. This could be the rolling crew. They get a hit, they'll make a hard right. Just get out of the way.
Oh, no. They have to go down to the harbor for beer and hot dogs.
Well, if an alarm comes in, there'll be a timeout.
Well, we have a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit of a backup here, which often happens. I guess that's because traffic needs to pass on the Boston Post Road. So it's a good time to tell you that LMC's main headquarters is now located on the 3rd floor of the Mamaroneck Town Center, right next door to the Mamaroneck High School. We're there about a year, and it's a glorious studio. It's a really wonderful asset for the community. So we hope that everybody come down and meet the staff of LMC-TV. It takes a lot of people to put on a show like this. And LMC itself has only about 6 full-time employees. Everybody else is a volunteer. We're ready to go to some interviews. We have a lot of help from the local live tonight. So stay with us. We never know who's going to stop by. Most of our local politicians do. Let's go to the local live.
Hi, good evening. Today we're here with Justin Burnt of Kent Fire, the chief. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling all right, not bad. Good night, nice night out here, good time with everybody.
Very good. And how do you feel just being here tonight, surrounded by all these fellow people within the fire department?
Well, I love it because I grew up in the village of Mamaroneck myself, so it's a long-time resident here. I moved upstate, joined the department up there, and now I come back every year. It's great.
Every year?
Yep.
So this is not your first time. This is not
my
your first rodeo.
time. No, not at all. Not at all.
What do you say that you enjoy the most about being here in this type of environment for the parade?
Being around old people I know, camaraderie, brotherhood, all togetherness. It's really good to get together like this. Show support for everybody.
I see. And what year is this for you to be here at this parade?
Well, it's many years, actually, many years. Since I grew up in the village, I gotta say all my life, pretty much. All my life, I'm coming down this parade.
That's beautiful. And I was just talking to Justin a little while ago, telling him how this is such a selfless career path. Can you tell me what it means to you to be a fireman?
It means giving of yourself, giving back to your community, helping each other out, helping others. Our motto is neighbors helping neighbors.
I love that, and I think that's such a great thing to do, especially for the community, especially being here in such a local area. What does it mean to see all these familiar faces to you?
It's very nice, very home. It's like coming home again. It is coming home again for me, very much so. Absolutely.
That's amazing. And here's the band behind us doing a great job.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Yes.
What would you say is your favorite part of being here tonight so far?
Just being around everybody I know, being back in the town where I grew up. It's good.
Well, I love that. There's a lot to look forward to tonight. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for taking
Thank
the
you.
time to speak to us.
Thank you very much. Thank
you.
Bye.
Welcome back, and thank you, Aurora, for that lovely interview with Town of Mamaroneck Chief Justin Burns. As you can see behind us, the parade marches on. Who are we looking at now, Ken?
Well, we'd had the Tappan Zee Bridgemen go through, and actually you guys are going to see them 3 more times. They're listed in 4 different spots on our parade. The folks, they're going to be hustling them back to Mamaroneck Avenue School in some fashion. Maybe they got a helicopter. They're going to lift them up and drop them off.
It's a long walk back up that hill.
However, they're doing that. So we did that.
Our friends in Purchase. Now, we always talk about the color of fire trucks. Here we have traditional red, we've had green, we've had yellow. We've even seen some white. Is there any conventional wisdom on what works?
No, actually, the coloring is left to each department, and usually their truck committees. It's a very political question sometimes when they're ordering a new piece of fire equipment. Red is traditional, but a lot of times when here in the village, we got red and white, we got red and black, we got one that's green and white, I believe. So it's up to the truck committees when they're designing and building the truck.
But there's nothing that says one color is safer than another color. Or
no,
better than
quite
color.
honestly, with all the emergency lights, if you can't see those things, the color does, unless we come up with a glow paint, you know.
Right. Well, in the dark, you really can't see the color. You see the lights.
It's all. I mean, with the amount of emergency, you just a parade. But just look at the amount of emergency lights that are flashing, and then we add sirens and bells and horns. So.
Well, while we have a little break, Ken. We're going to go back to the local live where Aurora has another interview. Let's go to Aurora.
How are you guys feeling tonight? I'm
Great.
I'm getting bit up.
Good. Yeah, I
The mosquitoes are
know.
attacking.
At least it's not raining.
So hi, today we are here with Norman, former mayor, and Stephanie and Christina. You guys look great. I really love the patriotic vibe that you guys are going for. It looks amazing. Can you just tell me how it's feeling for you tonight so far? How to be here?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. First, I congratulate everybody for organizing this weather. It's very good. And Christina, who is going to be a senior in Mamaroneck High School, fits right in as a future NASCAR champion, I believe. She's been racing since she's 7. And Stephanie, of course, is one of the ultimate assets in the Village of Mamaroneck as a continuous volunteer. And it was great as honorary members of crew members for the crew marching tonight with the FDNY race team, which actually fits right in because the emphasis, aside from racing in a NASCAR, of course, is to raise funds for the Widows and Children's Fund and to remember, quote, the 343 unfortunate firemen who perished in 9/11. So it comes under Never Forget. And this is the type of a parade that you never forget, especially, the best part is for the kids. This is the best. I remember going to these parades a long time, 60, 70 years ago, believe me, I went. Really?
I know it must be nostalgic coming back after all these years to see all the changes that have been made.
I have never moved. I'm 3rd generation. I've been here my whole life. So it's great. And it has changed, but it changes for the better. Of course, there's always room for improvement. And bring some friendly back to the friendly village would be nice.
I love that, and that's great. And so you've been driving. That's amazing to hear. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I started go-kart racing when I was 7, and I moved on to cars when I was 14 with the help of my coach, Stephen McAleer. And basically since then, since the Skip Barber Racing School, I've been driving until now. So
That's amazing. I had one experience in a race car, and it was terrifying. So the fact that you can do it and you love it, that's great. And it's like woman empowerment is behind the wheel. I love that. And also, how do you feel about being here tonight? Can you just talk to me about that?
This is amazing. I mean, just look around and what a sense of community and what a sense of the feeling that the Friendly Village gives you. I mean, people are here from all over, and it's a wonderful night celebrating a wonderful holiday, and God bless America.
I agree. Can't wait for July 4th.
That's right.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Have a good rest of the parade.
Thank you. And you guys do a plug always. I've never been on LMC-TV without saying the communication in the Village of Mamaroneck is imperative that it continues to be successful.
I agree. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the parade.
Welcome back, and thank you, Aurora, and thank you, former Mayor Norman Rosenblum, along with Stephanie and Christina. Now, we've missed a few contingents here. Did we see the Tappan Zee Bridgemen finally?
Yes, we saw them go through, and I believe the fife and drum might have been the Nassau County fife and drum unit going through.
My favorite.
Harrison went by us.
Okay. Now,
And,
Harrison had just gone
by.
by.
With their equipment, and they had a couple older pieces in the
In case you've just joined us, I'm Alice Bloom, and co-hosting with me today is Ken Barron, former chief of the Mamaroneck Village Fire Department. Now, we're going to see a contingent that's never been here before, Ken.
Yeah, we've got a group coming in from New Paltz. There was a past chief here by the name of Red Granger. And there was a number of Grangers here in the village at one time, most of which have moved away. Members of his family now live up in New Paltz, and they've asked to come in this evening and participate in part of the parade.
Well, it's a long way to come. New Paltz has to be at least a 2-hour drive from here.
Yes, it is. But I'm not sure, but I think the family's working with the state college up there.
Okay.
But don't hold me to that statement.
Okay, now we haven't seen New Paltz yet. We're still seeing.
We're still got Harrison units coming through.
Yes, yes.
And
they have a huge fire department. Well, Harrison is a huge community.
Well, they probably emptied the barn too. They're right close by, so if they're needed, they can get there in a hurry.
All those fire trucks getting washed and waxed.
The interesting thing, the fire department does have responsibilities on 95, and they don't have an entrance in Harrison, so they have to come to Mamaroneck or Portchester to provide the service that goes through their community. And I meant by coming here, they have to go through us to get on the interstate, or they have to go to Portchester to get on the interstate.
Whoa. I love seeing the old fire truck. 1951. Man, how do you get parts for a vehicle like that?
You make them. Actually, my notes say this is the East Farmingdale unit. It's an antique pumper, 1951. Actually, we had one like it here in the village for many years. There was a lead pumper out of the Columbia Firehouse up on Barry Avenue.
You know, when you look at how far firefighting has come, how the technology has changed in recent years, and you look at these old fire trucks, you wonder how they did it.
With great difficulty. Begin with, you couldn't penetrate deep into a building. Now we put self-contained breathing apparatus on people, and they can get deeper into a building. It also makes the job more dangerous because you can be too far in if something goes wrong.
Sure.
Even if you are in full turnout gear and air parks and what have you.
Sure.
However, the air supply in the back is a 30-minute bottle. So you've got just so much time in and so much time out. And you also, if you panic, you breathe faster, and that 30 minutes can become a 15-minute bottle.
It's just pretty shocking. Ken, we're going to go to an interview that Aurora has waiting for us with Dean DeWitter. Let's go to Aurora.
Hi, right now we're here at Dean DeLitta, the Grand Marshal. It feels amazing to be standing next to you. I feel honored. But can you tell me what an honor it is for you to be here tonight, just how you feel overall?
It is. It's a great honor. And I've been in the volunteer fire department for 34 years now, past chief for 2 years, back in 2008 to 10, and having the honor of being the Grand Marshal for the parade. Especially it's a parade that I've been coming to since I was a small child here in the village.
That's always a beautiful moment to come back year after year and just see all the changes that have been made. How does it feel to be back here with your local community?
It's great. This is what makes Village of Mamaroneck Fire Department so great. It's generation after generation. People that were born here. My grandfather was in the fire department, and uncles and cousins, and that's really what makes this department special.
I love that. And just what does it mean to you to be in the fire?
You know, it's a great opportunity to give back to your community, and you know, it's getting tough in New York because it's hard to live in the area, you know, once people get out of college and work, but there's so many that are trying to do it, and it's important. It helps keep our taxes down with the volunteer department, and we just take very much pride in it.
Well, I take pride in being here speaking to you today, and so are all the fans here today as well. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Okay.
Welcome back, and thank you, Aurora, and thank you, Grand Marshal Dean DeLitta. Well, it's wonderful to have some of the firefighters stop by.
Yes, but that must have hard worked Dean, because he was the Grand Marshal. He already went to Harbor Island.
He already went to Harbor Island.
They made him run it back up for your interview. Did you
well,
see
we're
his face
delighted that he could join us. Now, we did miss another fife and drum. Who did we hear,
The
Ken?
Mount Kisco Ancient Fife and Drum was leading Mount Kisco Fire Department. And currently going by us is the apparatus, so the men in the bands have gone by us.
Well, I can't believe we're in the second division already.
How about that? The evening is winding along.
I mean, I've said this before, but the pace of this parade is
Yeah, it's
very
moving.
juvenile. We've stepped it up quite a bit this year.
Yep. Either that or they're allowing us less hold up at the Boston Post Road. They're moving more equipment through quicker. Some years it's a lot of traffic on Route 1. They have to get that moving through.
Well, you know, while it was quite warm before, it's actually pretty comfortable now. Often we express our concern for the marchers who are in, well, kilts and jackets and heavy woolen coats.
Based on the parades I've marched in, this is a pretty comfortable one tonight.
It's pretty comfortable.
And
yeah.
you'll notice the group coming along, they don't even have jackets on. They're short sleeve. So it's not as bad.
Now, you tell us we have a new reviewing stand this year.
Yes, and that shell that you see behind us is a piece of equipment that was excess from the town of Greenwich. I do believe we had to make a contribution to Greenwich for it, but they brought it down. The older unit, if you remember, was just the base of a flatbed trailer. So this can be folded up and put away, and if we should get some weather, all the judges in there will be out of the rain, hopefully.
Oh.
But it's standing in there with the people who count the men in line, listen to the musicians and the different bands, and this all leads, their point system all leads to the trophies that we would give away at the end of the parade. And if you happen to been by a garage
Okay. Well, while we have a background of great marchers, we're going to go back to Aurora, who has the current Village of Mamaroneck Mayor, Tom Murphy, ready to give us a little shout out. Let's go to Aurora.
Watching more LMC-TV music.
Hi, Tom. Hi. Right now we're joined by Mayor Tom Murphy, Kelly, and Norma. It's great to see them here tonight. Can you tell me how it feels to be here tonight so far? How are you enjoying the evening and the parade?
Well, you know, this is one of my favorite nights in the village of Mamaroneck. You know, to see everybody out having a good time, the kickoff this summer, and the kids are having a great time. And we have the fireworks coming up on Thursday night, the best fireworks in the Sound Shore. So it's a good night for Mamaroneck.
Very nice. And how do you feel here, Norma?
I'm really enjoying it. I've come to this parade all my life, and this is the first few years I've been marching in it, but it's fun. It's even more fun to march than it is to watch.
That's amazing. And is it also your first time for the parade as well?
It is, and it's been a lot of fun. The kids with the bubbles, I've seen a lot of really good dogs, well-behaved and very cute dogs, so it's been a great night.
That's beautiful. And how do you feel just being around your community, being surrounded by such a warm, welcoming community around you?
Well, you know, that's the essence of Mamaroneck. You know, we're a very diverse community, but a community that cares for each other, a community that looks out for each other, where one neighborhood cares about another neighborhood, and we work kind of symbiotically. So, you know, it is honestly the friendly village, and in my opinion, it's the best village in New York State.
I have to agree, hands down.
Yeah,
what are you looking forward to for the rest of the evening with this parade?
I'm going down, every year I get a pizza free.
Just one.
Just one. My cardiologist says I can only have one a year. But
I think you cheat today.
Yeah, they're excellent.
Today's the day.
Yeah.
Today's the day. And what are you looking forward
I'm
to?
actually going to do the same thing.
Oh, okay. I might have to join you, ladies, and you as well.
Just chatting with more people. It's really, I mean, Tom is so right. The best thing about Mamaroneck is his people. When I moved from another community, I mean, we would go down to the harbor, the kids would be playing kickball and then softball, baseball, and you just couldn't believe the friendly people that were here. It was really amazing.
It has to be, and it has to be just amazing
really
to be
is.
here now. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I really
And
appreciate
I just
it.
want to remind everybody to come down to the fireworks Thursday night at sundown.
Perfect.
But there's a concert before that.
And there's a concert before that and during that.
During that. The Arts Council sponsoring a concert.
Yep, under the lights.
Perfect. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
your
so
time.
much.
I greatly
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Aurora, and thank you, Mayor Tom Murphy and trustees Nora Lucas and Jen Westropp. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's always a pleasure. Now, we've missed another fife and drum, the regulators, but who do we have coming down the street again, Ken?
Again, we're going to get the Tappan Zee Bridgemen for another appearance.
All right, this is their second appearance.
Right. I'd also like to point out, going by was a real old unit from the Edgewater Park Volunteer Fire Department, which is actually in the Bronx. When you cross the Throgs Neck Bridge, if you go off to your left or look to the east, you're covering the area covered by the Edgewater Park Fire Department in Bronx, New York. And it's a volunteer department.
Whoa. How many vehicles would you think are in this parade in total?
Well, we've got 34 departments times 2, and in sometimes 3. So there's probably close to 100. If you take in chief cars, I'll bet there's 125 mobile units.
Wow. In the little village of Mamaroneck.
In the little village of Mamaroneck.
Okay.
On the wonderful Mamaroneck Avenue.
Okay, and that's the
that
Hawthorne
splits the
Fire
town
Department.
in half, which means the village of Mamaroneck has to have equipment stationed on both sides of Mamaroneck Avenue in the event of an emergency. And the same thing for the EMS.
Has there ever been an emergency during the parade?
Yes, some years ago we actually had a structure fire during the parade. Only happened once, but we're not looking for a second event.
Well, here they come again, the Tappan Zee Bridgemen.
No, that's not.
Now this must be the Stephen Driscoll Memorial Pipe Band marching in Thornwood. We did have the Tappan Zee Bridgemen twice already. Do they get paid for 4 times?
It's all part of the negotiations.
Wow, it's a good gig.
But here comes another antique piece pulling a hand pumper, I believe. Thornwood Fire Department. And that is actually a hand pumper. They throw the hose in a body of water and they pump those handles to get water.
It seems to me we're seeing more antique vehicles.
It's like a hobby. A lot of old firemen pick these things up and it becomes a hobby.
Yeah, but we're seeing more than we previously did.
Actually, the village of Mamaroneck, we have a hose cart up in Mamaroneck that they take out of town to it. It's on those 2 big wooden wheels with the hose wrapped around it. It takes about 5 or 6 guys to pull it. And what happened in the old days, they'd run to the firehouse, a couple of people, and pull it to the scene.
Okay. Well, while we have a little hiatus, let's go back to Aurora at the interview set. Aurora, let's see who you have to interview. It looks like Dan Natchez to me. Dan Natchez was the...
Hi, welcome guys. We're here with Brendan and Katie, President and Vice President of Edgewater Park, volunteer. How do you guys feel about being here tonight?
Oh, it's a great time. It feels like home. It's great seeing all the people. Everyone's having fun. It's always a good time out here at the parade.
I agree. And what about you, Katie?
I'm honored that they have a parade like this for all the firefighters. It's something we don't see that often.
I agree, and I think it's an amazing thing that they're doing for the community. And I'm just recently learning you guys are also from the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx myself. So how does it feel to be a part of this community and just sharing this event with them?
It feels great being invited out here, especially being the only volunteer in the Bronx. So we take great gratitude to it and we appreciate it much, and it's a great time out here.
I agree. Being the only one from the Bronx, that has to feel amazing. It's a 72nd annual parade. It must be amazing to be here for that.
Yeah, they did it years ago in our department, and this is the first year we've been invited back in years. And there's another department from the VFA that we're a part of in it as well.
Wow, that is so amazing. And it must be nice just to be surrounded by so much love and admiration. I'm sure these people are just so excited to be here with these local heroes, because really that's what I feel you are to me. How do you feel about your role and just where you stand?
I just do what I can. I like what I do. I don't really feel, as you said, like a hero. I just like getting to know everyone around your community. I like being a part of everything, so it's something I feel like I have to do, so I appreciate it.
That's great. And what about you? What does it mean to you?
Everyone has to do their part in the community, and if this is what it is for me, I love it.
That's great. That's so beautiful. And what are you guys looking forward to seeing? What have you seen so far? It's just like blown your mind.
Just all the people. It's been a long time since I've seen a lot of people in the community come together like this. It's really great, and it's amazing. I love it.
How about you, Katie?
I just love seeing all the trucks.
I do too. No, I do too. I think it's a beautiful thing. I haven't seen this many fire trucks in a very long time in one spot. And it's great to see for a positive thing that's going on and not a serious occasion. So thank you so much again for taking the time. We appreciate your work as always. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome back. Thank you, Aurora, and thank you, representatives of the Edgewater Park volunteers. We've got the Westchester Brassmen behind us. They have the floor.
This Westchester Brassmen actually comes out of the Harrison area, and they compete in a lot of band competitions, and they're very sharp. They also have the women with the flags that perform in front of them.
Well, don't they look smart? Okay, Westchester Brassmen bringing in City of Rye and Greenwich, Connecticut.
You know, you were asking me about the amount of apparatus before. When Thornwood went through, they had 7 motorized vehicles in the parade. And that was, and also you asked about color. They were yellow, black, and red striped.
Well, they've got covered a lot of ground, though.
Like I said, it all comes back to the lighting.
Well, behind us is the Rye Fire Department. Milton Point. Boy, that's a good gig.
Yeah, that is. That's nice out there. It's right out there with a lot
But
of,
it is remote. Are there fire hydrants on Milton Point?
Oh, yeah, they're all the way out there. You got those couple of clubs out on the end out there. They're all covered. Water systems go out there. Long ago installed.
You know, we haven't seen any boats here tonight.
No, I guess they're all in the water. All have wet holes.
But boats have become a very big part of the firefighting.
Yeah, Village of Mamaroneck has one. Rye has one. New Rochelle has a small unit. So there's a big need for them out there. Also, all of the communities, most of them all have a police boat out there that has a small pump on them that they can bring into service if needed.
Well, where you have a waterfront community, it seems to me you have to have the ability to fight fire on the water.
I'm told that we have 7 miles of waterfront within the Village of Mamaroneck.
Wow.
You follow all the lines.
And that's just the Village of Mamaroneck.
Just the Village, yes.
And then you've got Larchmont, you've got
I don't
Rye.
believe something like that.
Right. New Rochelle.
Of course, that's taken a lot of ins and out cuts, but if you actually were measuring where the water touches the land.
Did I miss them, or do our friends from New Rochelle not appear tonight?
Actually, I was doing a little research on the internet, and when I put in Celtic Cross, I kept coming up with Notre Dame. Apparently, Notre Dame's band also is called the Celtic Cross. These folks here come out of Connecticut.
Okay. Well, while they've just left us, they're a great band. You can tell we're being bombarded with bubbles by our neighbors. Let's go back to Aurora, who has trustee Dan Natchez from the Village of Mamaroneck. Aurora, on to you.
Hi, right now we are joined by trustee Dan Natchez. How are you feeling tonight?
I feel great. It's a fantastic parade. You know, look at all the kids, look at the thousands of people here. You have kids from a couple of months to over 90, you know, and I'm not sure which is enjoying it better.
I would say it's equal on both parts.
But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's nice to be able to give the firemen something to, you know, show off on. All the equipment, all the hard work they do, you know, being first responders and keeping us safe. It's a fantastic approach to life.
Right, and I'm sure this is not your first go around here at the parade. How many years have you been coming out, do you think?
Well, I don't know. I've been here for many years, so it's a lot.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun. You get to see all new types of equipment. What I find fascinating is how the kids are so much engaged in this.
I agree.
And there's so many more kids here this year than in the past. So I find that, you know, very encouraging because that's our future.
I agree. They took a moment to put the phones down and just come out and just be present in the moment. What does it mean to you to just be here with all of the community surrounding you?
It just is, you know, it's a pleasure. It's a great great honor to be able to march in the parade. It's a great honor to be able to serve the village, and it's a great honor just to be part of this. And what is inclusive is, when I was marching on the parade, I went and shake some of the kids' hands, and that lit them up. And it was just so terrific to see their reaction, that somebody was willing to just step out of form and honor them as well. So
That's such a beautiful moment. What is another fond moment that you've had while attending these parades year after year?
Just looking at the number of people, if you take a look at the ages of the people that are marching in the parade, they go from very young to seniors, all giving, all caring, all wanting to be part of helping communities grow and be safe. I think that's terrific.
I do too. I think that's such a beautiful thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that here tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us tonight.
It's a pleasure. Enjoy.
Thank
and
you.
LMC-TV does a great job.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Aurora, and thank you, Village of Mamaroneck trustee Dan Natchez. Now, we've had a few other contingents come down the street, and I think we've got our friends from the Village of Larchmont back.
Yes, I believe what happened was when he had the opening part, that was the antiques with the fire on the helmets, and that was Larchmont. And now we're back with the modern day version of Larchmont.
Okay, now here's our regular contingent. We have a lot of marching bands tonight.
Yes.
More so than normal, I think.
About the same. It just depends on sometimes on how we stretch them through. And as you said, this particular parade's moving along fairly quickly.
Yes, very quickly.
We've had a couple stretches in the past where there wasn't any music.
Right, but maybe they've just paced it differently. We're already in the 3rd division, and there are only 4. Oh dear. Now, Ken, tell me some of the categories for awards or trophies.
Well, we basically get most men in line. Then they have what they call regulation uniform, which means with coat and jacket and a hat. Then you have non-regulation, which is without the full uniform. And then they have another class for casual.
So how many trophies are awarded in total?
I haven't counted them all up, but I'm sure it's in excess of 100. If anybody happened to walk by Robert's men's store here on the avenue, they were all in the window for a couple of weeks, and it was a full window. But you got all these different categories, and then you always get 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. Also, there's a trophy for coming the longest distance.
Okay, Ken, I'm going to call you off here. The Dixie Dancers are here.
And as Hastings comes along, this will be a regulation uniform.
Okay, well, the Dixie Dandies are marching in Hyde Park, Hastings, and Eastchester. So while we wait for them, let's go back to Aurora, who has another interview for us.
Ready, go!
Hi. Hey, boys. Hey, how you guys are doing tonight? Can I just get your names, see who I'm here with tonight?
Luigi, Mike, Marco.
Right. Come on in. Let's get close. Perfect. So can you tell me how excited you guys are to be here tonight?
I'm really excited.
Yeah? What are you enjoying about the evening so far?
So far, I had like a practice, like a baseball practice yesterday.
Yeah, and then
I think we're all gonna go to the carnival.
Yeah,
we're gonna go to the carnival.
Really? What are you excited to do at the carnival?
I don't know. Play some games. Play stuff like we can play wall ball. Does Marco bring a tennis ball? Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. What are you guys excited to see here today at the parade?
I'm excited to see my cousin. is my uncle. He's at Harrison Fire Department. He works for Harrison. He's the chief. I'm excited because my coach, he's part of this parade, and I'm trying to see him, but I can't find him a little.
Well, there's a lot of people out here, so it's okay. I understand. That's very exciting. Is this your first time at the parade?
No, I've been here a lot of times. I've been here like 125 times, so.
Very, very cool. We got some right at the camera. Well, I'm glad to see you guys here tonight, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you guys next year.
Yes. Yay. Probably at Christmas or Halloween.
I will be there. Enjoy the rest of the parade, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Thanks, Aurora. Well, you had probably the shortest, but the most enthusiastic interviewees of the night. It seems like only yesterday that my kids were that young.
Yes, and we were getting bombarded by bubbles. Somebody behind us has a bubble machine there.
Yeah, you know, when I
us
used to come down here with my kids, we used to park at the very end of the street. That's where they like to watch the marchers coming right down at them, right at the entrance to Harbor Island. Now, we've just seen the Spirit of 76.
Actually, and there were only 3 guys in that band. What is that telling us about the Spirit of 76?
Oh,
is that all that's left of the 76?
Now. Those are the ones who came
Hey, those
here
1776, those guys are doing good.
I
Come
thought
on.
they looked great. Now, who
Not
were they
taking
marching?
anything. Don't
who
get
were they
negative.
marching in, Ken?
They were marching in front of the Eastchester Fire Department, and
Okay.
they didn't mean to criticize them. Hopefully that was taken in good humor. So we got White Plains volunteer division of the White Plains Fire Department coming along.
Well, you know, it's an interesting point. White Plains identifies themselves as volunteers. Do they have a paid department as well?
The primary fire service in White Plains is a paid department, but they do have an organized volunteer division.
Okay. Is Mamaroneck Village one of the few all-volunteer fire departments?
In this part of the county, yes. Village of Mamaroneck does not have any paid staff. Both Larchmont, Town of Mamaroneck, Harrison, and Portchester do have paid staff to get the equipment out of the building, and the volunteers provide the manual work that's done on the fire ground.
Complicated. Is it harder to get volunteers these days?
It's a big problem. We have lots and lots of openings in all of the companies and all of the departments. So if you have any interest at all, your local fire department would be thrilled to have you. And that doesn't make any difference whether you're male or female. We need you.
And what are the qualifications for a firefighter?
You can stand upright, speak, and chew gum. But all kidding aside, there, once you're elected into a department, there's a basic training course that you have to go through. And before we allow you into a building, you have to be designated a basic firefighter. And that point, your insurance can cover you. Well, actually, you're covered while you're training.
Well, I assume
but in
you
order
have
to
have
go
some
in, you have to have
physical
basic training.
You have to have some physical characteristics. You have to be in good health.
Basically, you have to have, your doctor has to say that you're in good enough health to be a volunteer firefighter.
Okay.
So
You have to
which
be over 18.
Correct.
And what about availability for people who
Well,
work in the city?
we have percentage requirements. So if you can't come out, you won't maintain the percentages and will end up being dropped or dropping of your own accord because you can't participate in the events.
Well, how many hours a week of coverage would somebody be required to put in?
Well, basically here in the Village of once you're a member of the Village of Mamaroneck Fire Department, generally speaking, we have daytime and evening people. You're on duty either 6 to 6 or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Basically, any alarms that come in during that time frame, you're expected to make. And if you're available outside those time frames, we definitely need the help.
So it certainly is possible for somebody who works in the city to be able to commit to so many evenings a week. So many
Yes,
night
you
calls.
definitely could. We only have we have one night of formal training, one night of maintenance, and one evening that is the business meeting. Other than that, it's additional training and other fire department activities like the carnival, like the parade, 4th of July, and we also, anytime there's a parade here in town, we're providing coverage, if not being part of the parade.
Now, is training provided by the Village of Mamaroneck or by the county?
Basically, there's state-required programs that you're participating in. There's state courses. For many years, I was a New York State fire instructor, doing that by evening. And there are a series of courses They've kind of combined what used to be a 13-week program and then a pump night and ladder night and stuff. They've combined all of these things into a longer program because you also have hazardous materials and other things.
Sure,
so
you have a lot.
Currently, it's about, there used to be 3 I think there's somewhere around 4 or 5 months to complete the basic course.
4 or
now.
5 months.
Doing it a couple nights
is there
a
an
week.
online contingent?
There is online training available, yes.
So, I mean, many people are taking courses online, so you can do it from the comfort of your home.
Most of this requires attendance with a fire instructor.
So if somebody was interested, who would they contact?
Any one of us in the fire service, if you come by the firehouses, particularly in the warmer months, the Sunday, the doors are open, people are around, stop and speak to us. At these events, you're down at Harbor Island, speak to any one of the guys down there and they'll get you together.
Okay, so all you have to do is ask.
All you have to do is ask or show interest. We're thrilled to have you.
And do you have to live in the village of Mamaroneck?
Yes, you either have to live or work within the confines of the village of Mamaroneck.
Okay.
To be but that's pretty true whatever community you live in. Simply goes back, if you lived outside the community, worked outside the community, you wouldn't be available to us.
Sure.
Looks like we have the marshal for the 4th Division.
Right.
Which would be past Chief Lawrence Citrone, and his marshal is Orlando Torres. And one of them,
guess
and
what
it looks like
marching-
he's got a couple of youngsters.
Guess what marching band is coming?
Must be the Tappan Sea, Bridgman. Actually, we're supposed to get them twice in this division.
Now that's their 3rd appearance for the night.
I got a suspicion they broke this unit into smaller pieces.
And they're marching in the Ardsley Fire Department. I cannot believe it, but we're in the 4th Division, and it isn't even dark yet. Wow, a moment of quiet. A good chance. We hope that you're here watching us on your smartphone, perhaps. But you know LMC can be seen on LMC-TV.org and on Roku and Apple TV. Can you believe that?
I
You're
see
on Roku?
Ardsley has another antique piece here, and that's wonderful condition. Somebody's done a lot of hard work.
Now, we didn't always get to say it, but each division has a marshal.
Correct.
And the marshal is from the village of Mamaroneck.
Yes, he's one of it. Usually a past chief that gets the honors, and one of the assistants is usually the company officer out of that chief's fire company.
Okay. Well, you know, a lot of people think that LMC has a vast crew, but in fact, the staff is quite small. It consists of Executive Director Matt Sullivan, Assistant Director Dina Schumacher, Government and Community Events Manager Christina Carino Forrest, Varsity Sports Producer Rob Moretti, Programmer Stefan Aloisa, News Director Sibylla Chipaziwa, Assistant News Director Stephanie Yang, Bulletin Board and Office Manager Sharon Latimer Mosley. Those are the only staff members of LMC-TV. Everyone else is a volunteer. Okay. There's so much going on at LMC-TV. One of the fundraisers going on is quite exciting. It's a mural fundraising, and it's raising money for equipment to help students do their own productions. If you'd like to know more about the mural project, please call LMC-TV or check out the project online. You can be a contributor and a participant and help us complete the mural and buy lots of new equipment so our students can do their own productions. LMC-TV has board members, President Jefferson Megan, Vice President Peggy Jackson, Treasurer Leonard Verasto, Secretary Mike Witch, members Jen Baez, Stephen Israelski, Jack Saraceno, Louis Simons, and John Burney. Those are the people who'll set policy for LMC-TV, and they're all volunteers. We're back again.
Oh.
Ken, tell me who's making all this noise?
I believe we have the X Factor drumline coming along. I was doing some research on that name, and from what I can find out, there was a movie called The Drumline, and they've taken a lot of their activity from that movie, or they've used that movie as a outline for the type of drumming that they do. But they are very active when you'll see as they come along.
Well, there definitely are a lot of drums coming down this street, and they're right behind us. So let's just let them have their say.
In fact, I can see the crowd is moving in their direction. They probably have stopped in front of the judges' stand to
There
put
they
on
are.
their show.
That's the X Factor drumline.
X Factor drumline that you're watching. Notice the crowd closed in on top of them.
Wow.
We're going to take a little doing to get the crowd back to the curb.
It was a great show. Now they're going to win for something. They have to win for something.
Going to get best band, I'm sure, or something like it.
Did you cover all these?
I don't know if my mic is live, but Town of
Wait,
Greenberg.
you're not on. Okay. Well, it's gotten quiet for a moment. Well, there we go.
I do believe this is a privately owned unit that's making all the noise.
Well, we're nearing the end of the parade, but Aurora's got some members of the X Factor drumline with her. Let's go to Aurora.
Right now we're here with the captain and the head coach of the Mount Vernon Royalettes. How are you this evening?
Fine.
How are you feeling?
Very good. Tired, but very good.
Well, you guys look great. I know you guys are working up a sweat, but you guys are glistening wonderfully, and you are working so hard. How does it feel here to be here tonight amongst all these people?
Well, it's an honor because we haven't done much parades because it's our first year of the Royalettes. So it's fun to be around all these people all the time.
It must mean a lot this being your first year here. How does it feel just being your first year? What have you seen that you love so far?
So this is like our fourth parade this year, but this is like the biggest one. Like the crowd is the biggest. And they give us a lot of energy, because like some people are dry, but they give us a lot of energy out here. So.
That's good. So you draw a lot of energy from the crowd around you. Lovely, lovely. And what have you loved seeing here tonight so far?
Well, I mean, it have like more, come from Mount Vernon, it's like more, you know, not to, it's like more, like kind of the project type. Out here is more fancy and well put together, so you know.
Well, it's still coming together. And how, as a captain, how does it feel to be here tonight with and choreographing for your team?
Well, it feels great because I just became the captain.
Oh, congrats.
So thank you. So, yeah.
Well, I'm very glad that you guys are out here tonight. You looked amazing. Is there anything you want to say to the crowd?
Follow us on Instagram at MVHS Royalettes.
I love it. Thank you so much for your time. And enjoy the rest of the parade. I can't see you guys working out there. Bye. Thank you.
All right, we're here. Brewster is coming through, and they're the last unit on our list. Also, you got to see the Tappan Zee Bridgemen for the fourth time this evening.
Those
guys
are
are going to be
energetic
winded.
group. What a great group they are. It's been a beautiful night. Now, are we going to have the Mamaroneck Village fire trucks bring up the rear?
I would imagine they're not far behind us. I haven't heard them yet, but I would imagine they're not far behind us.
They usually make a lot of noise.
Yeah, that's usually the signal that it's all done, and as they go up the street, the crowd tends to follow them to Harbor Island. And if you're out and about, come see us at Harbor Island. All the child rides are running till probably 10 or 11 o'clock. Come Saturday night will be the drawing for the raffle tickets that we sell each year. I don't have one in front of me, so I can't tell you what the prizes are.
Now, when are fireworks?
Fireworks is on the 4th at dusk, about this time. Where are we? Coming up on 8:30.
No,
probably
it's usually later.
Yeah, somewhere. It's got to be dark, so I would say somewhere around 9:15, 9:30. They'll probably shoot them off. And as per usual, there'll be standing room only in Harbor Island So don't come with a big blanket because they'll have 40 neighbors with you.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful night, and I'm sure the weather will be great. We're hoping. I can't believe it's the end of another night, but it's time to do a shout out to all the people who made this event happen. Our event producers are Christina Carino Forrest and Rob Moretti. Lead technician is Rob Moretti. Director is Louis Simons. Graphic operator is Stephen Bizaitan. Talent camera for the floor was Rich Camarda. Roving camera did a great job, Ray Oeda. Wide camera, also a great job, Chris Lavinia. Audio, Sean Kelly. Still camera, Stefan Aloisa. Interview camera, Xavier Campo. Interview runner, Julia Eckley. Interview floor manager, Andre Gordon. Interview producer, Stephanie Yang. Interview talent, Aurora Fawkes. Facebook stream, Diana Barnes and Elvira Vasquez. A great shout out to Boyano Bakery for allowing us to bring their power through their shop. Village of Mamaroneck DPW, we couldn't do it without you. You've cleared the space for us. Well, Ken, it's another night. We have a few people who were missing tonight, but we miss them sorely. Dina Schumacher, Matt Sullivan, and Sabella Shipawiza were not here tonight, but we know that they were here in spirit. We managed to get on without them, and they're going to watch us.
It was a tough fight, but
we did it.
We have done it one more time, Alice.
All right, Ken.
Where are we at here? Everything has been completed on our list. All of the units have come through. The judges are very busy with their clipboards trying to decide who's going to get a trophy. They usually adjourn up to the firehouse over there by the post office, if you know the unit. And they'll gather there for a half hour, 40 minutes, counting heads, counting equipment, discussing appearance of units, bands. Be interesting to see how the drum line made out.
Right. Well, everybody go down to Harbor Island. It's a great party. Don't miss the fireworks. And, of course, there's a fundraiser for the Village of Mamaroneck Fire Department. Buy yourself a raffle. It's been a beautiful night here in River City. Thank you all for being here, joining us, watching Ken and me sitting at the Mamaroneck Village Fire Parade. We haven't been doing it for 72 years, but the Village of Mamaroneck has. So let's hope that we get to see the 73rd
We got the two
parade.
for sure.
Let's hope we get to see the 73rd annual parade next year.
And if you're curious, those trophies are actually handed out at Harbor Island later this evening. So if you're out and about in about an hour and a half, you could see who actually goes home with all the trophies. Also, if you live in the areas around Mamaroneck Avenue, you will hear the winners leaving town.
Okay, on that note, I want to thank everybody at LMC for helping, for working so hard to make this night possible. I'm Alice Bloom. With me is Ken Barron. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Have a safe year till we see you again.